are listening to the Adult Learners Career Pathways Steps to Success podcast, coming to you from Mercer County Community College, the Community Education and Training Department, where helping our adult learners succeed is our number one priority.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's podcast. This is Kim. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Karla, Pollack, and Paula Harrington, owners of Association Business Solutions, and they're going to talk with us today a little bit about their experience starting their own business. Why don't we just take a second or two to just talk a little bit about yourself? Karla, if you want to go first, just tell us a little bit about who you are and what your role is at Association Business Solutions.
Thanks for having us on your program, Kim. My name is Karla, and I grew up in the area. Both my parents were teachers with no experience in the entrepreneurial world. They were understandably nervous when first my husband and I bought a wine shop in Princeton, and then I told them I wanted to leave a stable job to start my own business with my friend Paula.
I'm Paula Harrington, and to add on to Karla's story, when we were starting, Karla had a very good job at a large trade association for 18 years. It was nerve-wracking at first to leave our jobs. A little background about me, I lived around the country when my dad was moving up the corporate ladder at Lady Foot Locker. He became CEO in the 90s, and over the years I'd go to work with him a lot, and he gave me a lot of business advice and just always enjoyed it. And then I moved to the area when I was in high school. So this is home, and New Jersey's home.
Thank you for sharing personal information with us. We appreciate that. I don't care who answers this, or you could both give your feedback, but how did the idea of starting your own business come about?
Like we were saying, I worked for a business trade association, and Paula?
Oh, and I worked for a lobbying and association management firm at the time, and our two businesses worked down the street from one another. And so we had worked on projects together and just became fast friends in our 20s. And then we were in our later 30s, and we had decided we had wanted to start a business. And for about 2 years, we talked about it. One day, we had a lot of different ideas, everything from a curves gym to spray tanning, buying a strip center and renovating it and keeping our job. And then one day, Karla's husband just looked at us. He was listening to us, and he said, "Why don't you two just do what you know how to do?" And it was like a light bulb went off.
Scott is giving good advice. I love it. I love it.
He was.
Can you share with us what kind of business Association Business Solution is? Like, what do you do? Who's your clientele?
ABS provides public relations, lobbying, and advocacy for larger nonprofits. Believe it or not, we can't believe it, but we formed in 2003. So we're at 18 years at this point.
Wow. That is incredible. Good for you guys, because I know just from speaking to other smaller business owners, it is not easy to keep your head above water. And, you face so many challenges, and I'm so proud of you guys. And I'm so glad that you're still going today. Now, your location is in Trenton, correct?
Yes. For what we do, being right across from the State House is really the right location for us. Initially, when we started the business, we weren't able to be in that location right away because the space was just too expensive. It's hard to believe because it was 18 years ago, but our very first office space was interesting because another business owner had given us very good advice. He said to keep our overhead as low as possible. Well, our first office space, we both couldn't be in it at the same time and close the door.
Oh, wow.
And then our second office space, we had our first employee with us by that time. And so we had a little bit larger space. We couldn't all push our chairs back at the same time. Now we have a full office. We have a large office building, 2 conference rooms, all of that. And all of us have our own offices, but it didn't happen overnight.
For ABS, the reason why we did get an office is because we provide the legal office address for nonprofits, and that can't be out of a home address.
Right.
So we went that route, but a lot of businesses do not need office space outside the home. And we say go that route if you can. And if you go stir crazy working from home, too many distractions, there are a lot of cool shared office spaces that you can check into a day or so a week when you need it.
Wow, that's great information. I had no idea about that. So that's good to know. Could you share with the students, where does one start? Like if they're interested in starting their own business? I mean, there's so many things I'm sure you have to think about of financial and location, things like that. But so where could somebody start as far as owning their own business? Where's the resources?
As Karla mentioned, she and her husband had a fine wine shop in Princeton prior to us starting this business. So I'll let you answer, Karla, because she just had so much knowledge on that I didn't have.
Well, sounds really boring, but putting together a basic business plan, it doesn't have to be slick. And there are a lot of templates out there. And think of it like this. Even if you put together a few numbers and it doesn't make sense to start the business, just think of how much time and money you've saved at that point if you drop that idea. It's kind of a good way to measure. But say if the business plan looks promising, it will help guide you with some key decisions during those first years. And I would say understand that it will probably take you 3 times longer than you project to turn a profit. We thought 3 months, no problem. We'll just say it took a bit longer than that.
Well, isn't there something like a rule out there about a 5-year rule? Like in 5 years, if your head isn't above water, you're probably not going to make it. I know I heard that years ago in college. A professor told us that once. I don't know if it's still true today, but have you ever heard anything like that before?
I have not heard that exactly, but I think it's fair.
That's a good time frame.
It does take much longer than you think it will. But what I will say about the people that do end up doing it, they know that it's going to be longer than they hear the same things we do, that it's going to take much longer to be in the black than you think you will. But we all think we're going to be the exception. And that's usually the person that starts it.
Right.
But I mean, that time frame, I mean, it's good to have in your mind and in your plans, what time, if you aren't above water, when is it time to exit? Because there's nothing wrong. I mean, there's a lot of businesses that aren't successful, and there's a lot of businesses that are for a time, but then interests change and it might be timing to end, not just financially, but for other reasons. So there's nothing wrong with closing things out and just having a rough idea in your mind about when that time would be for you or what criteria it would be. When you're just starting your planning, the easiest thing is to decide, not the easiest, but look at your startup costs and then decide if you're able to self-fund or need personal loans, the friend and family, or larger bank loans. Put together the basics of business name, website, logo, business card. That sounds old-fashioned, but that was kind of a measure of our optimism when we first started out. Paula's dad said that he thought, hey, they're going places because, we had nothing except for a business card.
We walked into his house and we were younger, and he said he'd never seen 2 people more proud of their business cards. Really started the business with the business.
Oh, well, then, you know what? You have to start somewhere. I mean, it's the business plan is a given. I mean, you should have, and I like Karla, how you pointed out that it doesn't have to be super slick, whatever, but you need something. You need an outline. You have to have some direction on where you're going. So yes, a business plan. And I love the idea that there are templates out there that could maybe help somebody who really has no clue where to start, get them up and going. How about organizations? Do you personally know of any organizations that will help somebody get their business up and running or give them an idea or, like I said, direction?
I would say that I actually put down the website for anybody interested. It's federally funded program through the SBA. And in New Jersey, there are regional centers for the Small Business Development Center. And in our area, it's on the campus of the College of New Jersey. So I would definitely look into that. They will provide business consulting. It's www.sbdcnj.com.
Okay. That's good to know.
I would suggest looking into the New Jersey Small Business Development Center. Don't know if she's still there, but Lillian Morrow used to run it.
Okay, and, very good.
There's a lot of resources that are free. Like I said, it's federally funded. So,
thank you so much for sharing that with us. Because I think you got to start somewhere, and that going to somebody who can be like, okay, step number 1, 2, 3, 4, just to give that guidance is so important. Here's the fun question. question. Let's hear some pros and cons. I don't care who answers. Let's start with the pros of owning your own business. Go.
Well,
oh no, go ahead, Carl.
it's a caveat, more a caution. Health insurance is expensive. I mean, if you're a certain age, you might be covered, but it is expensive. So have a plan to pay for the premium if you need to.
Okay, a pro, because I don't know that I could ever go back to not managing my own schedule, but you get to manage your own schedule, when your meetings are, when it works for clients and all of that. And if you do have something you need to do during the day, you can fit it in between meetings. And it's really helpful. Nice.
Well, yeah, you're your own boss. I mean, I could imagine that being the number one pro, setting your schedule, making, doing whatever you need to do around your meetings. You are your own boss. That is definitely a pro. I could see the con being now, guess what? You don't have a big, large corporation chipping in towards your health insurance, because we all know health insurance is outrageous today. How about any other cons you can think of?
You have people depending on you, not just for health insurance, but you have to be able to do your commitment to your staff.
Sure.
So if it's lean or you lose something one month, you want to make sure you have things lined up so everybody can get paid, including yourself. So you take on a lot, and it's more work and stress than working for someone else, for sure.
Paula, did you want to add anything?
No, I think Karla summed it up really well.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Ladies, thank you so much. You have shared such great information for the students. I truly appreciate you being our guest today on our podcast. Maybe in the future, we might tap into your knowledge a little bit more again. I don't know. We'll see. But I thank you both, Paula and Karla, for coming on today and talking with us. I hope you both have a wonderful day.
You too, Kim.
Great talking to you.
Thank you.